Everybody has a plan until they don't. And today I want to talk about this very simple idea or philosophy. And recently I've been interacting, I feel like, with a lot more people who are new to day trading, who haven't actually day traded that long, or maybe they're paper trading. And they always kind of have this idea that I can't lose as long as I do exactly what I learned by reading a course or by training paper trading. There's no way to lose, right? And I see this comment. I see these people with this idea. And I've been trading for the last 2 years now, and I've had a little bit different of an experience. Talking about that experience today in this video. So let's do it. Day trading on paper seems very simple, very easy. You can read a book, you can do all the courses, you can study, you can paper trade, and you can do everything exactly like you're supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, once you actually start day trading with real money, now you're battling something that you never battled before. And that's the emotion of losing money. And I've seen this happen. I've had it happen to myself. And it's a very overlooked aspect of day trading. I think when people first research day trading, it all just seems like numbers on a chart that you can't actually lose as long as you always have, a certain risk reward, as you always have a plan, you can't lose, right? What people don't think about is the emotion of actually being in a trade, actually trading with real money. And that's the problem here. I can sit here all day long and I can look at this chart in hindsight and tell you exactly what I should have done or what I could have done or how I could have made a ton of money by trading this chart. It's always easy to look at a chart in hindsight. Hindsight's always 20/20. It's very easy to kind of get overly confident and to also think that you can't actually lose because you've done all the work, you've done all the studying. People, when they first start day trading, they make a little bit of money, or maybe, they're going slowly and they think that as long as I go slowly, I can't lose, right? Well, MTSL is a great example today. You can see the stock got all the way up there to 640. Well, someone's trading this. They're buying this or trading this, and their plan is they're going to get out here, at this stop area at the let's say 580. 580 will be your stop. Let's say you bought there at 6. You're holding that 580 area, and then all of a sudden, look at this candle from 585 down there to $5. Whatever your plan was, it just goes out the door. And what happens with a lot of people, it happens to me as well. What happens with a lot of people when they're day trading is they have a plan, they make the plan, they see the plan, and then it goes against them and they end up losing because I'm going to hold it, it's going to bounce back. I'm going to hold it, it's going to bounce back. And before you know it, now it's down here to 260 and you just blew up your account. And that's really what this comes down to, this idea that even when you have a plan, even when you've done everything right, the market is going to really pull on every string. Going to pull on your experience, it's going to pull on the emotional string. And a lot of people haven't faced the idea of actually cutting a loser for real. It's one thing to get out of a trade when you're paper trading. It's one thing to have $100,000 in a paper trading account and to be able to get out and do exactly like you planned and to do all of that. It's a totally different thing when you're using real money. It doesn't seem like much. Let's say you have a small account, you're down $100 and you're telling yourself, it's okay. It's a little bit of money. I don't care. I'm not going to, it's going to come back, right? It's going to come back. So now you're telling yourself you're going against the plan. You're trying to tell yourself it's okay to hold. I don't need to cut it. It's going to bounce back, right? And you're trying to rationalize this drop. You're trying to tell yourself, oh, it's dropping because there's support below and it's going to bounce back. And that's what happens. That's the emotion taking over. People ask me, they say, Patrick, why don't you make tons and tons of money in the market? My big problem still is and always has been the battle of the emotion, the battle of overtrading, the battle of not waiting for the right opportunity, the FOMO. And I've always been very honest about that I have a very big problem with my emotions when I'm trading. I don't get out, or I don't take profit or I jump out too quickly. And I'm very aware of that. That's why I talk about these videos. That's why I make these videos. I feel like a lot of people also relate to me because they understand how to trade. They can look at a chart. They can see the right opportunities. They can see the entries. They can see the exits. They can read everything on a chart. So you can learn everything about day trading. But now let's throw real money into it. Let's put you in a loser. Let's do this. Let's put all these different variables that you didn't train for, that you don't know what to do. Now that's when your experience kicks in And if you don't have the experience, if you're just starting out, if you're just starting to day trade, you're going to end up battling your emotions and you're going to end up losing. If you watch my videos, you'll see the days where I have a decent day, where I have a green day, the days that I make money. Normally you can see from my videos, I take profit quickly. I do a couple things. I can always be better. But overall, on a green day, normally you'll see kind of I'm, steady. I'm happy. I'm taking profit, and I'm kind of walking away. And then on a red day, what you'll see is, say I'll get down red on the first, couple trades. I'm red on the day, and then I start forcing trades. The emotion kicks in, and then I'm like, I got to get back green. And then this whole thing starts to unravel. So I go from understanding day trading to now turning into a gambler, now turning into an emotional trader who's just trying to buy every dip or try to sell every rip and trying to get back from red to green. And this is basically the battle, the emotional battle. And everything all mapped out. You got this whole entire plan set up, but now you're red, and now the emotion takes over and everything goes out the window. And I see the comments, people comment, and they're like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And it's funny because it's not funny. Well, it's kind of funny, but when I look back, when I watch these videos of me trading and I see when I do things, I'm like, why did I do that? How did that happen? And it's basically because I know what I'm doing wrong, the instant I do it. So I'll just be sitting here and I'm like, oh, and I jump in with FOMO. And then I'm like, why? Why did I do that? But the emotion is so strong. It's so hard sometimes to battle that emotion. And that's just kind of human instinct. We're not computers. We're not robots. We have emotion. And the FOMO is real. The fear of missing out. When a stock starts going straight up, the first thing that you think is, oh, I'm going to miss out. I'm going to miss out on this move. So you buy, and then all of a sudden it's getting crushed. And then you sell lower. And then what happens? Then it goes back up. You were watching this. You saw it bounce there. It pulled up there. What? 575, and then you were like, okay, I'm buying here because it's going to break higher and it's going to go all the way up there to maybe $10 today. So I'm buying right here, right? And then, oh my gosh, now it's dipping, and I'm getting out there. So now you went from buying here at the top of this wave. So now you went from buying at the top here, and now, your stop loss mentally was, let's say you were in there at 5. If you're in there at 570, maybe your stop loss is the 550, and you're like, oh, I got to get out. So I'm breaking down. And then all of a sudden you're not getting out because you're thinking it's going to bounce back. All right, so now it's at 550. Again, the emotion is taking over. Even though you have a plan, even though you know exactly that even though you know you need to cut your loss quick, the emotion takes over and you're not selling. And before you know it, now the stock is down there at 512. And then finally, the emotion's like, okay, I got to sell. You get depressed, you get sad. You can kind of see my videos sometimes when I have this reaction. You'll see it on my face where I'm like, okay, and then I get out. Well, then, so now you got out there at 512. What happens? The stock now, it rips all the way back up here. And you're telling yourself, oh my gosh, it ripped all the way back up there. And that's the emotion. Even when you have a plan, the biggest enemy for you is going to be your emotions. It's my biggest enemy. I'm very honest that I have a problem controlling my emotions trading. And that's why, obviously, I'm trying to become a better day trader. That's why I talk about how I want to become a better day trader. And that really just comes down to my emotion, being able to control my emotions, being able to understand that these stocks that go straight up, they're normally going to pull back. There's going to be an opportunity, a safer opportunity, a better opportunity for me to buy. So I really just have to train my brain to understand that, to keep the FOMO out. And I think if you're in the same place, I see people who comment about losing money or having trouble with their emotions. Think about that. Really, your emotions are what's going to make you lose. It's not that you don't understand to buy the dip or to sell the rip or, support resistance or EMAs. You don't understand that. It's not that you don't understand the fundamentals of day trading. It's the emotion that takes over. It basically makes you go from understanding day trading to a full-on just crazy person who's just buying and selling and doing crazy things. There it is, just talking about day trading emotions. The idea of basically having a plan until you don't, and then letting your emotions take over and blow up your account.